I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up.
Hello, beautiful people. How you doing, Dina?
Oh man, I'm great, Marie. How are you over in Savannah?
We are fine. Dina, I'm gonna give this little introduction. Just 1 second, D. This is Marie coming to your hearing tonight on Ain't the Ain't Incarceration to Incorporate, and we are here tonight to talk to Dina with OAA and our special guest. Her name is Tawana, Dina.
Her name is Tawana Davis. Fire. She is fire. Yeah.
Tawana Davis, and you know Lisa Gus. And so I want to give a shout out to Mr. Julius Hall for making this thing possible for us to come on to share our stories, and for AB, the brainchild of Incarceration to Incorporate, and Julius Campbell, who we call Miko, in his absence. I just want to say hello, people. Thank you for all the listeners, for those who are in the prison system, who are taking the time to listen to us. Thank you. We have a story tonight. It's called Road to Redemption. Road to Redemption. Your story do not have to be ending because you've been to prison. And so we're going to show you what redemption looks like. Dina, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm absolutely fabulous, Marie. I am excited. We are embarking upon another leg of this journey. Just finally found a home base for our agency in this new program, which has more than enough. The gentleman is a formerly incarcerated individual. I wish I could show you guys where the home hub of part of the offender alumni in Birmingham would be. Just absolutely fabulous to even see him, and I'm going to bring him on once the men start back up, just so he can share his heart, his vision, his passion on what and how other people laughed at him, and he just wanted to move his life forward after prison, give back to his community and everything, and how a church was losing their education fund center, and was like, we don't want to lose it because the community needs it, but then we can't keep it, and how God, I guess, told him that this was it. And so for months he's been working on it, getting it together, and it wasn't beat up too bad because it has great bones to it, and just looking for agencies to help love the community, like service the community, like what are we going to do, and looking for real community agencies to do that. So
that's the building right there, Dina.
Yeah, this is the building.
That's that road to the redemption right there, Dina.
That's road to redemption. And so just giving back, and creating space and opportunities for individuals that are coming from disenfranchised, vulnerable communities to be able to thrive and have inroads to what they need in order to do that. So that's what I have. I'm excited, though.
I am excited too.
Lovely Tawana Davis.
Hey, Tawana, how you doing, Miss Tawana Davis? I am Marie. And I want to come on to say I really, really appreciate you coming on the show tonight to share your heart and your story. Mr. Julius Hall, he makes a way for us to come on and to share our story, which he was he was convicted also, but guess what? You should see and hear his story, and he's doing a phenomenal job. And I love what Mr. Hall say. He say once a debt is paid, it's no longer a debt. You can't keep holding me for something I already went and paid for. Unlike, even though that quote is so good, but society sometimes make it really hard for us, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask your name, and I want you to tell me your what is your connection to incarceration, and just tell your story. So go ahead, Miss Tawana.
Oh wow, okay, just right out the gate, huh?
Just
Okay.
right out the gate. Just tell me your name and how you
Now,
affiliated with incarceration.
Okay. So my name is Tawana Davis, and I thank you for inviting me on the podcast tonight.
You're welcome.
And I'm looking forward to participating and hopefully not be the only person talking, but I'd love to share
We
my
gonna
story.
go ahead.
Okay. And so I am directly impacted by the judicial system. I served a term of 15 years in an Ohio State prison. So that is how I'm connected with the judicial system. So I don't know. I forgot the other questions that you were
Okay,
saying.
I wanted you to tell me your name, your connection to what is your affiliation to incarceration to incorporate. Okay, now we know about your past. We know that you've been incarcerated. Now tell me what you're doing now. Was your transition easy when you came home? Was it hard for you to find a job? How long have you even been home?
Okay. All right. Great line of question. So I have
slow
been
it up.
home. What'd you say, Dina?
I was telling them, just slow it up, right? We're
I'm
gonna let
right. I'm
I'm
like, okay,
sorry.
I
I'm
got it.
sorry. Go
It's okay.
ahead.
Marie
So
gets excited.
I'll start the question, and then once I start to veer off, you can just kind of direct me in whichever way you will have me to go.
Okay.
So I've been home since June of 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was definitely an adjustment, right? So after
Mm-hmm.
serving 15 years, there's a lot of things that's changed in the world. There's a
Yes.
lot of new technology. The way of the world is moving a lot faster, and the adjustment has been and is one of just being gentle with myself and learning all of the new things with the technology, with the people, how the world works, how I fit into this world, how I can share my story to not only empower me, but to encourage and empower others, and shed light and bring awareness to a topic or topics that I feel need to be brought to the attention. One of the things that I do and that I kind of connected with is artwork. So
Mm-hmm.
I love to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of the times I express myself um, and my emotions through the pictures that I draw, by telling a story of my life, of my past, present, and the vision and the dreams that I have for myself. One of
Right.
overcoming trauma, right? Like trauma from childhood, growing up in foster care, being abused emotionally, physically, sexually, and also just telling my story of incarceration and how I've overcome, and how I actually made the choice to not just continue to be in the victim seat, but also to be a voice for those who may have went through something, and how to actually overcome, see themselves as an overcomer and a victor.
So, Tawana, are those the portraits that you have in the back? Are those your paintings?
Though, yeah, those are actually, there's a couple of pictures that I've done. I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, these are a couple of pictures that I have drawn.
Uh-huh.
I
Oh, those
do.
are really, really, really nice. Can
Thank
I tell
you.
can I tell you something? I don't
Yes.
what you call it, it is called, it was, I was reading a book one night, and it was a woman, she wanted to actually put her husband paintings into like museums, but his pictures couldn't make the museum. So what she did was she did
Oh,
a blog, and she put all of her paintings, her husband paintings, on a blog, which I think you should do because they look amazing. And
oh,
you know that you can actually sell those paintings.
oh,
And
wow.
Yes, you can sell your pain. And I like that you say you want to share your life or with what you went through, the trauma. See, that's what I'm talking about, Miss Tawana. It does not have to stop there with the trauma. You want to heal. You know how we heal sometimes by telling our stories to
Yes.
other people that can help heal them. Because I'm quite sure it's another little girl who's in foster care who done went through the abuse and the trauma, and you can help free her. That's why it's called Road to Redemption tonight. And I
Mm.
just like the fact I like that picture right there, the one with that lady right there.
Oh,
It's,
Serena Williams.
yeah, I like that, and the one
Oh,
that's sitting on the other side of you, that one too. I like, yeah,
okay.
them
The
the two I can
training.
mainly see.
Okay.
So,
And I've
and
got,
it's
go ahead.
go ahead. No, what was you going to say?
Well, yeah, that's what I do. So these are just like a couple of pictures that I was just kind of doodling in. And
Mm-hmm.
art is very expressive for me. So it gives me an outlet to kind of go inward and connect with myself to see how I'm feeling and to just express it on the paper or the canvas. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually have had my artwork in the National Underground Railroad in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've had artwork while I was still incarcerated. It was in the National
Wow.
Underground Railroad. And I've had artwork at the Stone Age Gallery in New York City. I've got artwork different places in Ohio. So it's interesting to just be able to come from a place of authenticity and express myself through my artwork, and then
Right.
allow the artwork to speak and allow other people to see it and say, hey, can I hang your picture here, or hey, can you do a commission for me? And it's a beautiful thing because I this is what I love to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's what I do, and not just artwork, but just being a voice of advocacy. I'm a represent justice ambassador. So the focus is to help elevate the voices of those who are incarcerated, for those who feel like they don't have a voice, right? So for so
Right.
long, how many people are, feel so beaten by the system, and they fight and they fight, and then they lose so much that, after fighting for so long, they give in. And so
Right.
I consider myself that person to come and walk alongside that person and say, hey, sis, hey, brother, I know it's been a long fight, but let me strengthen you. Let me encourage you, because I was once there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, there were many times I'm like, well, does this ever end? Because the road is so long, and sometimes it can be so lonely. But I'm grateful that with my faith and strength in God, and just other people reaching back to help me out and encouraging me, that I feel like I'm able to do that exact same thing.
I,
So,
I,
so
I really
go ahead.
appreciate that. A lot of times we have so much on us just trying to get our lives together. A lot of people don't understand that. And they pull and they tug, and but we're yet still giving, as you did when I reached out to you. You so graciously accepted. You asked me a few
Absolutely.
questions. I said, well, listen, we don't have you, like, hey, I'm on my way. You
Yes.
got it. And do me one favor, which I don't have she is also she's also a business owner, right? And she
Wow.
Yes.
brings social justice t-shirts and things. So if you can definitely talk about that, that would be one thing. And I think my question before I even thought of that was, what was your thoughts about coming home, and how
Mm.
did all of this, what you're doing now, play into those thoughts? Was it just something that it just started evolving with your life, just trying to move it forward?
Okay, that's a good question, Nita. Thank you. So, being inside, I always knew that I was different, and I never really conformed. I'm the kind that don't really conform to what everybody else is doing. Like everybody, see the path and then they go along the path. I'm the person that don't see a path and just make one and go my own way and just
Mm-hmm.
take my chances that way. But one of the things that I notice is that, because the judicial system, when you're inside it, it has a tendency to be like a negative environment, just from the staff, sometimes from the different other people that are there. And so after a while, it just kind of affects you emotionally, spiritually, and it affects your self-esteem. And
Yeah.
so I was always the type to, I knew going in, like I wanted to be a different person than I was when I went in. I wanted to leave different. So from the very beginning, I started to do some self-healing for myself, doing inner healing, inner work, to address the childhood issues. But one of the things that I also noticed with being with the other women there is they wear their emotions, or we wear our emotions on our sleeve. And sometimes you don't even really have to ask, well, how you doing today? Because you can see it, how they would walk with their head down. They're abandoned, they're lonely, they're, traumatic, or they're suffering from trauma, or alone, or whatever their feeling was. You could actually literally see it on their shoulder, or on their chest, as a billboard. And so I always thought, like, what my billboard would say while I was there. And I wanted to be an encouragement and a light. So I would always, try to encourage the women, and have my sign, my billboard, say something positive to maybe help encourage somebody else. And so what I did was, once I got out, I decided to transfer those ideas over on, on this side of incarceration. And so what I did was, I started an apparel line that would help um encourage other people with different phrases, different words on their shirts, their hoodies, their long sleeve shirts, that would help not only encourage and build the self-esteem, but also to help encourage other people as well. And one of the things that I noticed outside of here is how everybody is so self-absorbed. We are, I noticed the selfishness, and just how the pandemic has really affected people's mental mind state. And so I learned that it's not just the people who I was incarcerated with, but it's people everywhere. It's so much negativity in the world. Like, it's like people look for the negative thing to find in people, and then they pick at that, as opposed to lifting people up and encouraging people.
You are
Um,
so true. It is so true. And
I agree.
I never got on Facebook. I didn't want to get on Facebook. When I came home, I was just coming out of the MySpace era, I guess. And people would be like, they can find you on MySpace. So I have that same story. Didn't want to be
okay.
the girl that I went in as, believe
Uh-huh.
that. And
Uh-huh.
God has done a remarkable job in making sure that that is so. And so I, I didn't want to go to Facebook because I didn't want the people to find me. But once
Yeah.
persons had told me it was a marketing tool for what I was doing, I went ahead and I went for the inspirational stuff, and just
Hmm.
to make it that space of free marketing, if you will.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I saw that these things get viral likes, right? Like millions of likes on some stupid stuff, right?
Yeah.
And negative stuff, anything that's
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
they're constantly saying what is making our nation decline in morality and humanity, really.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's amazing you
So
say that.
So
Is
yeah,
that
I
one of the
think it.
shirts you got on?
Actually, this is a different one. This is because I just threw it on because you were like, "Come on, let's go," and I was like, "Okay, here I come."
Thank
and
you.
and it's a little chilly in Ohio, so I just grabbed one.
Okay.
But my website, you can, or whoever is listening can go to my website. It's called She Created the number 2.com. She created the number 2.com. And it has a lot of my designs on there, with more to come.
mhm.
So I'm very excited about that. I have a new shirt that I'm going to put on there that says "Stop Mass Incarceration," because I feel like, at this day and age, it's just completely out of control. And that brings me to the next point of my advocacy, and on how the United States has the highest number of incarcerated people in the world. Um, I'm not really sure how we got to that state, other than, the system. Some people say that the system is broken. I say it was built that way. It's
It
built to function the
was.
way that it exactly is. And, it brings me to the point of a short film that that I shot, and it was released yesterday actually, and it's on YouTube under Represent Justice. The title of the film is called Broken Systems, and I invite, anybody that's listening to watch the film to like and share it, because it has some vital points about like this mental mind state that we are all in. And it doesn't necessarily matter where you physically are, because prison is prison. Like, some people are physically free, but they are in prison in their mind. Yeah. So it's still a prison. And so it tells a short journey of, just the different broken systems, and then the prison system as well.
So Tawana, can I ask you this, because that was going to be my other question. Dina, was that the link that you sent me, the broken system? Was that by Tawana? Mm-hmm. Remember you sent Tawana?
Yeah, and I would love to see if Mr. Hall can add that to the commercial, right? Like, he can. Let's do that, right?
But you know what, Dina, what I wanted to do, excuse me for cutting up, Dina, I wanted like women. I'm not trying to count the brothers out, because it's a lot of brothers that are and is incarcerated. But what I'm saying, like, for the women, like, we don't have a lot. Like I always say, Dina, when I say about the halfway houses, how it's probably one halfway house for women and 25 halfway houses for men. And I know it's because there's more men locked up now than women. But it's a lot
chauvinist thing that everything needs to come from a male perspective, right? And we're second class citizens still in 2023,
right? Mm-hmm. But I think that we should I will come to Alabama, and I think that we should put on like a play or something. And I'm talking, and where people can buy tickets, and where we can talk about incarceration, because the simple fact is, like Alabama, we can put on something there and put on a play, and let's do this, because women, when I was incarcerated, it's a lot of women who don't have anyone.
Yes.
Who don't have nobody. I remember the lady told me, she said, Marie, you smiled at me. She said, you don't know how that made a difference to me. People, language don't have to be by words. You can smile at someone and make their day, because you never know what a person is going through. True. And I really, really like that, because if we don't hear, we talked about that last week, Tawana, Lisa and Dina and I talked about the child that is in us, that little girl that is in us, that little boy that is in that man. If you don't heal those things when you are hurt, it grows up. That little girl grows up in an adult grown woman, and it comes out in different plays. It comes out in different plays, how the way we react to certain situations, how the way we want attention from people, it acts out. And so I think that is, Dina, I think that that's what we should do. We should put that together, and I can fly to Alabama.
It seems like you have an idea, and to want to have the skills. And
I would love to. I would love to.
I really think
I want to be in the learning arena of that, because I have a lot of vision. I am a visionary, and anyways, but yeah, I would love to see how that would, Tawana.
That would be good. And then guess what, Tawana, we can take and get women, and I'm quite sure, like Dina said, you know how to put things together. We get different women, we can have them come on, you put a play together, because it is women out there whose stories need to be told. It's women that are still incarcerated, who are in prison for self-defense.
Yes,
they were getting beat, and I'm not condoning anybody being murdered, but they're getting beat, and they don't went to the police, and the police did nothing to help them. And so what is his life or my life? And so I feel like those women need to come out of prison. I feel like it should be a time, they done did, it's just time to release them. That's the way I feel.
Right. Documentary over at Auburn, and I'll get with a friend of mine out of New York that actually showed it. And it was pretty much, it was about narratives and how things are played and all of this stuff. And a guy had broken out of jail because he couldn't go and see his child. So he had broken out of jail, stopped in some town. This town economy, of course, is based on the prison that's there, maybe Midwest or something. Stopped at this place to get something to drink. Guys were playing basketball. He plays basketball with these guys. The police shows up 30 minutes, an hour or so later, whatever it is. and everything. And it was just different ways of incarceration and how person mindsets are as it relates to they. And what they said was he was a nice guy. Really? I mean, how? But and then the other town, their whole economy was based on the prison that was in its town that was closing. And then there was and I'm gonna get him to send it, and I'll loop us all in. But it was a loan company, well, pretty much like these loan sharks that does this payday lending. That is huge business. That they almost have a school for it, like almost like Chick-fil-A, how they have their hospitality piece going. And it's like they're joking and jiving about it, but how they are indoctrinating people to this process. It craziest thing ever, and so I'm and my thoughts behind that is like, how can we talk about all of these different prisons? So based on what you said earlier, Tawana, I'm gonna leave you there. Go ahead.
It definitely has to be addressed. It's kind of like, well, how do you eat an elephant? You're right. You don't swallow it whole. You eat it a piece at a time. And that's the same way that, you have to approach, the different storylines and the narratives that we want to address. And I do want to go back. Like, I would love to be able to help write, or, even with the film that's on YouTube under Represent Justice's channel, I wrote and directed and produced that film. So I would love to be able to be of assistance in any way that I can, because, I love to be able to create, whether it's art or film, or speak in advocacy. Part of the proceeds from my apparel line is going toward the next film that I'm going to make. And every single film that I make is going to be addressing the system and what it's like to be incarcerated. And it's like and the transition that it takes, right? Because, you asked the question earlier about, the mindset. Like, it definitely, like, you prepare yourself mentally for, like, when you get home, especially when you're there, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, get my driver's license. I'm going to get a housing. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get, you have all of these things planned out for yourself for when you're released. But then what they don't tell you is when you actually get out, it's not going to be that easy, right? Because they're going to slam the door in your face when you go and apply for certain jobs because of that one question that they have on the application. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? And
go ahead.
So it's not as easy as it's led to be, because I feel like people who have been impacted by the system, who have a number, we are discriminated against in many ways. And that's another reason why I want to create as many opportunities as I can for people. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to pave the way. Like, I don't want to get out of one system of incarceration to go into another of the work field to where I'm discriminated against, I'm harassed, or, looked down upon because I have an institutional record.
Right.
I'm not sure what that red dot is.
I think that it's time for us to go to commercial. Okay. Then we're gonna go to commercial, and then Mr. Hall I'll see y'all in a minute.
Okay.
All right. Hello, 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 people. This is Marie. I'm on with Dina and Tawana. We're talking about Road to Redemption. And Tawana, you know what? I was thinking about, I was reading the Constitution, right? The Constitution. And I said to myself, the Constitution of the United States needs to be revamped. It
Okay,
really
to what?
do. It needs to be revamped. The laws need to be changed.
Absolutely.
Miko always talk about like he like to do things systematically. I'm on the other end. I'm not. Miko is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like to just go to 6 because I done did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a lot of times, right? So
Okay,
I just like to
okay.
go ahead and go to 6. What you say, Dina? What you say? So I
I
just like
didn't
to go
say
ahead and go to
anything.
6. Yeah, things just don't make sense to me, Dina. Why do I have to keep saying that that's a person, and just because that person has been institutionalized as that what they would call it, they've been system impacted, and they're not human beings.
Well, I think
Why do I have
Tawana
to
spoke
explain?
to. Tawana said something earlier, right? She said
Mm,
something about she doesn't really go the path. She's always
she,
found herself creating her
that's why
own
I like
path.
her.
And the
Yes,
thing is, she's a creative, right?
right,
And once she accepted who she is, yeah, she's learned systems and all of that. And that's what her thing was coming home. I think she mentioned that she was just trying to find how do I fit in this new kind of world here and all of that. Not that I
Mhm.
wouldn't, but it's like okay. And I think a lot of times persons believe that when we come home, especially after we've done a substantial amount of time, we just automatically gets it, or we should just be okay because after all, you're out of prison, and that's not
that's not the
reality.
case.
That's
No.
not, and it's not reality. And
Mm-mm.
you're not listening to the person that's going through, even though you're saying you want to help the individual with their solutions, and you're
Mm-hmm.
not. And then you're gonna try to put them in there in this little box. So I get it, but knowing, I think for me, the God of my understanding had it right when he talked when he knew it was going to take a body effort. None of them are the same, and none of them had the same function. But
Hmm.
overall and collectively, they're meant to do a thing, and it does it well. And I think we're the same way. We just have to figure out what part do we play and play it. You know what I mean? And
Right,
respect and appreciate the other parts
right.
at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I get that I can't do it that way. That's why I keep people around me that can. Because
Right.
you know what I mean. And I get that for the most part, people are in systems, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
why with the nation, I think early on, like 30 years, 40 years maybe, I was like, I wonder why they did what they did. But when it was explained to me, you know, we don't believe in this kid is in 6th grade and you're keeping him here because of this structure and this system, but he's testing to 9th grade level. I mean, maturity wise, you think as a human being, no, you don't want him to be here with all these big boys, but mentally, he's not he's not where his peers are either.
Right.
So
Right.
you're studying,
Mm-hmm.
that was my synopsis of that. So go ahead, I'm gonna leave it there.
So, so Tawana, I would like to know, are you on Facebook?
I am on Facebook.
Okay,
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Um, I try to
because I
dabble a
want
little.
I
Go
want
ahead.
your number.
It's just my name,
Oh,
Twyana Davis. Yep, at
okay.
Tawana Davis. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna take and I'm gonna send you a friend request. My name is Marie Jones. I'm gonna send you a friend request, and so that we can link up and do what it is that I know that you can do, and we can
Okay.
put things together.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
guys
and
just
it's
let me
all
know
about
what the
thinking.
next steps are because I truly want to be a part of that process.
Oh yes, Dina, most
Oh, yes,
definitely you're gonna
indeed.
be Dina. Most
Oh, yes,
definitely.
indeed, I do. Because this is
Uh,
going to be phenomenal. Because my
Yes,
thing is,
Yes.
how do we help fund what it is she's doing too? You know
right. That's
how do we do this?
Right.
Because you said it. Let's take this on the road. You know what I mean? Let's start
yes.
doing that.
I
What does
think
that really
that
look like? But I appreciate that.
I think that, we are at a point in time in our lives or in this world where people they're wanting to know what it's like to to be in prison. They live vicariously through us because, they want to know our stories. I'm honored to not only have people in my life that support me that I network with, that make sure that I'm on the right path, to try to soften the blows for me as much as possible, but they can't take them all. Right. So there are some things that I still have to kind of live through, but I think that we are at a point in time in our lives where people want to know. And the only people that, can tell those stories are the people that are connected, that know. I was at a panel discussion and, they were so thirsty. The people were so thirsty to find out what it was like. How did you survive? And not just kind of make it like fluff, right? Just to be real with it. And so that is where, I say that I'm a different creative thinker, where I don't want to go the path that everybody goes, because we've all experienced that path. We already know what's on the left, what's on the right, but nobody can tell my story like I tell my story, because nobody's lived my life, right? Like, you can listen to what other people have to say and, agree or disagree, but, unless it comes from me, then you can't tell my story. So, those are the stories that, we need to hear. And, the stories of the women and even some of the men in the community, in my community or in my family who has been incarcerated. These stories, they shape us as who we are. I mean, who we are as people. And you can't just overlook that's a part of who I am. That's how I create from here on out. And so it's a story worth listening to.
I like that. It's a story.
And it changed your life.
It definitely changed my life. Right. I mean, and I'm not apologetic about it. Right. So, and I don't necessarily agree. Like, some people, they're in for such a long time, guilty, not guilty. We're still human. Like, nobody should be dehumanized to the point where I don't care what you do, what crime you commit. I get it. Right. But we are still human. Just because, we committed a crime doesn't mean that we are our crime. And so that's the biggest stigma that I'm trying to help shatter now, is so that people can look beyond that.
So when I was speaking to a federal agent one day, right? And he was telling me, I was like, well, I want you to come be on the podcast, Incarceration to Incorporate, where we help. And then I'm part of an organization, DINA organization, OAA, right? Savannah. And so I was just telling him about that. And he was like, no. He said, you know what? Yeah, some people, he said, do good and some people don't. He said, well, what about that young man who you don't let out 50 times and he still do the same exact thing? I said, but that's not everybody. You can't compare that story to the next 20 people that are doing well.
He said, but the thing is,
that's what they do.
And I want to interject there. But you never know when that person is too. We're so big to speak faith, speak spirituality, but we're not big on practicing it. Yes, and be honest. Yes, I get frustrated. Yes,
right.
I can't become hopeless, because I'm feeling helpless, right? Because I'm looking at them in the mirror every morning and I'm seeing a picture of hope. I mean, here I am. No, everybody wants to. You do it? No, it's a thousand. It's tens of thousands of demons. But who's going to put the work in to find her? To find him through all of his pain, through his trauma. You're seeing a person that's on a healing journey, which looks altogether different. And this healing journey takes courage and bravery, and it does take support. I personally found my support in my faith, right? And not with the people of my faith, but the substance of my faith, and the giver of my faith, right? And so that's another level of advocacy in and of itself. How could we do that? But we're so quick to dismiss individuals, and it's weird to me. It really is, and it takes a lot of investment now. A lot of it. Time, emotions, prayer. I mean, a whole lot. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, that person's or those persons are very much worth it.
Right.
That's
If their
right.
And
chest is going up and down, and I'm through with that. Go ahead.
And the bottom line is people are at different levels in their life,
That's
right?
right.
So people
That's right.
awaken within themselves at different ages, different phases and stages.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, and it goes back to the negative mindset of, just the negative energy that's put out into the world. You know, people are so quick to uplift and point out what somebody else is doing wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
what about like the 5 people, the 10 people, the 12 or 20 people that's working, that's busting their butt to get a job, that's hitting the
Exactly.
pavement when they get out. They will elevate that one voice and then everybody will hear that and begin to create a stereotype around, oh, okay, well then that's how they all are. No,
Right.
that's not it. And then the other thing is who hasn't reached out to him or them or her or whoever it
Right.
is?
Right.
Because obviously
And
you
how
said
do we
earlier,
challenge that?
the younger child, the inner child in them, that's who we need to be seeking after to help heal that inner child that's within the adult body. Because until you reach that point and that space in a person, then they will never completely heal or grow.
That is so good. That is so good. Let me tell you, I want to take and I want to ask you and Dina also this because Mr. Hall, we're gonna have to be off exactly in at 7 o'clock, ladies.
Okay.
So I want to know, Dina and Tawana, what do you do to reach back and what encouraging words would you give to those that are incarcerated?
Go ahead, Miss Dina.
Dina, Dina, she must be can't hear me.
I,
She's
I'm
on mute.
here. I am.
Okay.
I'm here. Words of encouragement for the persons that are incarcerated is that do the work. Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard. Tap into that space of pain because
Mm-hmm.
there's purpose in the pain. It would definitely push you into what it is that you're purpose and destined to do and be. You're not by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out because that's the whole reason why we formed this movement, right? And I do understand that heal people heals people.
Right.
Uh,
That's good.
yeah, I understand that, and the thing about us in this whole piece to you guys that are there, we created this platform. We continue on this journey for you. I
Yeah.
Oh no.
Tawana, she'll be back on.
Okay.
You can go ahead and start and just say what encouraging words would you give to a man or a woman that is incarcerated.
Oh, there she go.
There she
I
go.
can.
Yeah, I was just saying to let them know we're out here waiting on you. We created this movement just for you, right?
Right.
A lot of people say we want to meet you right where you are. Well, we actually do want to meet you right where you are because 9 times out of 10, we've there are some of us that's been where you are, and some that still may remain in that place. And we're just trying to press our way forward too.
That's right.
Always remember you may have done what they said you've done, but you're not who they say you are.
Oh, that's so
I like that, Dina.
powerful. That's so powerful and so true. So
Mm,
my thing is, I want my work to speak for me, right? And I reach back by the work that I do by
mhm,
showing and telling the stories of what it's like to be incarcerated, not just in your mind, physically or mentally, but also how to overcome. I reach back by, showing hope and letting the people know, the men, the women that, it's not easy. It is not easy, but it is worth it. And so, I feel an obligation and a duty to reach back and tell them what it's like to overcome, to be on the other side of the fence and
yeah.
to work hard for a vision, for a goal, and to actually accomplish it. So whether they are, ready to come out, whether they just got out, or even if they've been out for a while, to never let go of your dream and never let go of your goal, because God has placed that in you for a reason, and He's not going to give up on you. So why would you give up on yourself? You just have to connect with the right people to help bring your vision and your dreams into reality. So that's how I give back, by hope.
I love that. I love Dina. No, I love her. I love Dina. Ever
She
since
is. She's
the
so
first
profound.
the first day I met Dina, I love Dina. Dina love what she does, and it shows it. When you love what you do, it's not a job. It's something she love what
Yes.
she does. You understand?
Yes.
And so I met Dina and Ron like what 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, right, Dina? And I met her, and she's always been the same. I'm not saying she don't have her good days, her bad days, but she have always. Miss Lisa said that she is sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Miss Lisa said she's sorry that she couldn't be on with us tonight. Um, so I'm just saying I loved it. And what I get out of this, what I love about OAA, it's the 3 E's that we do in Savannah, Tawana. We say empower, encourage, and educate, because not one of us can do it alone.
That's
Not
right.
one of us can do it alone. And what we're doing now, we are connecting the dots. Dina told me, and then Dina told you. That's a connection. You
Yes.
understand? And we build on that connection. I thank you, Miss Deborah Daniels, for taking, and you and Dina, y'all taking and starting OAA Alabama to reach many. See, she took and she planted. Then guess what? God do the watering. He
That's
did the
right.
watering. How he got OAA Alabama, OAA Savannah, OAA Atlanta, OAA Albany. It's just going to spread abroad to help people. People need, that's the thing. We really need to learn how to help one another. And that's what we do. That's the empowering part. That's the encouraging part. And what Dina don't know, guess what Dina do? Dina said, okay, Marie, you wanted to be all women. She did? She took and reached out. That's the connecting the dots part. Not one of us, I don't care who you are, how rich you are, not one of us can do it alone in this world. We need each other. We draw strength from each other. I watch Dina, how she do, Tawana. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I don't even have to tell. I draw strength from. I said, okay, oh my God, Dina's sitting there writing on the board. Now, what I can do, what girl group or what young men group that I can go and talk to encourage them, And since being a part of OAA, Julius Campbell, he has done a phenomenal job being the director here at OAA Savannah. We have a verbal and visual where we take and help system impacted young people, trying to make a difference in their lives and to show them that they do not have to go to gun and gang violence. Tawana, it just blows my mind how kids are not afraid to die. You understand? And that they think it's cool to serve 50 years because they're loyal to people who are not loyal to them. And this is the thing that I'm so passionate about the babies. You know why I'm passionate about the babies? I'm a mother of 11 children. I am a mother of 11 children, and I don't want to see my children go down that path because somebody out there love them. Somebody love it. For the child who don't think that somebody loves them, somebody love you. And if I have to be the one to be, and I'm telling you to one that I'm not scared to go out there and say, look here, you don't have to do that. And I love you. And yes, I'll give you a piece of bread. And yes, you can come say, I'm like that. Yes, young man, you can come say, Miss Marie, I need you to come and get me. I'm going to go get them. I'm going to go get them because
I don't want people like that.
I don't want them to go the path that I went. They don't have to go to prison. They don't have to go to jail to know that, people say self-experience is best experience. That's not true. I can look at Tawana life. I can look at Dina life. You can look at my life and you can learn from that. You can look at Julius' life. He tells a remarkable story of his life. He has a TED talk and everything. Mr. Julius Hall life. You can look at us. You can look at our lives and you don't have to let that self-experience be your world. You don't have to go to prison to be hard and to be loyal. You can get in the books and be educated.
Truth.
And make roles for our people. So that is my encouragement to men and women that are incarcerated right now. I love y'all. We need to take and set yourself up. Like Julius will always say, get prepared to come out. Because this world is big and it's a lot out here for us to do. It is a lot for us to do.
And they have not truly prepared us to come home to something that's so profound, different.
No.
And this is my quest. You guys know it. I look for us, Tawana. I mean, we got just leadership, love legislation, love advocacy. You know, we have so many different spaces where directly impacted individuals are that have joined together. But who's at the gate? Who's there that can help with this emotional, you know, just that. I mean, and I've seen men and women embarrassed because they've served 25 and 30 years and they have social anxiety. You know, I've
It's
seen
true.
them, you know, we already sometimes are persons of low self-esteem. And they are still beating on themselves, feeling like dirt, feeling like everything someone then called them, because this is an experience and a road and a journey that only they can take.
Right.
Yeah, that I have to say, you're not supposed to know anything after 43 years, sir. He's like, Dina, but I should, but you went in at 22 years old.
Wow.
Oh, that part.
Right.
And how embarrassed they are. Who's there for those individuals, right? So that's why we do what we do, because we do connect on a deeper level, right? No, like you were saying earlier to one, you were like, there's some people that support me. And yeah, there's still some stuff I have to learn and some things I just have to go through. But knowing now that, you know what, I'm going to be okay. Who's that
Yeah.
person for so many people that are suffering in silence? And so, of course, now they put on these masks and everything, and they revert back to substances. They fall into unhealthy relationships. All kind of things happen in that space and time. Because of what they're going through emotionally, mentally, socially, spiritually, and no one is really there to help them navigate in that space. So that's why we do OAA. All the other stuff is extra. All the things that we do to do direct services, more than anything, I want to meet the person that's going through. They did a mandatory release here in Birmingham. And what I did was I went and start looking for those individuals that was up under the bridge. That was at the day reporting centers. Because I'm like, what are we going to do about these people?
Right.
They got them on leg monitors, right? And the leg monitors talk to them. Batteries low.
Wow.
They need to be in somewhere plugged up to a
Charged
wall.
up.
Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it's absolutely
I would love to be able to share some of these stories, and it's so many of them. But the thing is, I would love to be able to talk to the people who have experienced it and who are not afraid to speak out and tell their story.
Oh,
I would love to be able to show that.
Yeah. So I will do my part and get a few people lined up to have some conversations with you. And hey, we need to do that, because if we don't, who will? Statement you want to say, no one can share her story like her, right?
Right.
And no
Other
one can
people
share
will
our
try.
story like us. So where are we? That's what I'm on. No, we're tired of hearing all this negative stuff. Yeah, you're tired of hearing it, just like we haven't really been paid for slavery either.
Say that. But guess what? Dina, Fred sent me the link this morning where they said in California they want to pay out it's like thousands of Black people in California, and they were saying that about paying them up to $5 million, right? But then the people that is in Congress and the people that's in California saying, well, why should we pay them? They were not a part of slavery. And I get a little irritated by that, because the Indians now were not the Indians that did wrong. So why are they getting money? Everybody get paid and everybody get respected except African American. I'm not gonna get on that.
We're not gonna go there.
I say I'm not gonna go there.
No, I'm still trying to figure out the logic behind you come and take all of the land that we own and put me in these pockets of spaces and call it reservations, and I can't, and this is what I govern. Like, who does this? Like, you come in big boy and make it and create a system in a way to justify and make it okay. How do you
Yes,
do that?
ma'am.
Right.
But guess what?
People not
What?
speaking up.
Guess what? You know what it is?
I can't go to Spain and do that.
Right.
You can't go
no.
We can't go nowhere and do that. That's all. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Let's leave it alone.
I'll put my glasses on.
I love the glasses, right? But we're gonna get you some people. Marie, loop us into an email, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Got Tawana's stuff. I sent you that.
Thank you.
Email and her number through whatever I did. I copied it from what she had sent me in Messenger, and then we will do some next step stuff. I'm gonna get it done, kind of girl. That's how we.
Oh, I know you are.
In 7 cities without funding, okay. And we've been.
I told you, I look at her every. She'll not be on her page.
And they like, you doing too much. You need to stop because of systems and ways and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. I didn't have time for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 either, darling.
Okay.
And so now it's like, oh, this is what they meant by the cart supposed to be behind the horse instead of the horse nudging the cart and just pushing it. So now this locomotive is on a track and it's not slowing down. So you guys do keep us in prayer. Keep us in prayer. And I am a firm believer to whom is called, there's preparation and things that are and provisions that's already been provided. And that's speaking into each one of you and what your vision, dreams, and hopes are. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say I love you, ladies. Tawana, is a pleasure meeting you. It's a pleasure meeting you. I'm going to meet you in person. And then D, I'd be so glad when I be right here. Let me tell you something, Tawana. She's going to bring you some fruit seed.
Some fruit?
Yo, that's all she going to, I'm telling you, that's all D.
I love it. I love it. It's okay. I love it.
That's good. I need to be on the health kick.
So, Dina, where are you? Are you in Atlanta?
I'm in Ohio.
You're in Ohio. Okay.
I'm in Ohio.
So, Marie, maybe we do a vacation and get one of those buddy passes on a plane and fly up there for a day.
Let's go. You know, let me tell you something. She'll do it.
Come down because it's cold here now.
No, I'm not going to come now. No, I'm not going to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
what part of Ohio?
Columbus, like right in the middle of the state.
In the middle of the state. Okay. So maybe I need to see Marie. We may have to do that.
Okay.
Girl,
you remember? No, I'm for real. So remember how we met up in Atlanta and where I drove there?
Yeah.
And we had the hotel. Dina, all you had to do. Okay. Let's go. So I'm with. I want to meet Miss Tawana. Dina, it's always a pleasure, Tawana. Thank you for doing the show tonight. This is Incarceration to Incorporate. Peace out, y'all. Good night.
Good night. Appreciate you, Tawana. I'm gonna get my stuff too. Believe me.
Okay. Okay.
What it is? She what? Did you send me the link?
She created the #2.com.
Send that to me because I want to do that.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to send it to you as soon as we hang up.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Blessings and peace to you, my sister. I can't wait to see what this journey.
Okay. Bye.
like that.